Now, I do have a couple of questions to go over. Looks like 6.2. I have no idea what they're on. I haven't looked at them. So I want to make sure. Let me go to my subject and make sure. Yeah, there's 4 questions. There they are. 6.2. Looking, no repeats. 6.2, 29/9. First of all, is this a test question? Yes. So let's go ahead and do this one. And let me tell you, I'll tell you another course that you might want to think about taking in the future. Because, you know, I want people to be very smart, because knowledge is what?
Power.
Knowledge is power. And even though the government wants you to be stupid, I don't want you to be stupid. And the 103, I teach the math 103. I'm just going to put this over here. I don't teach it every semester. But if you ever want to take another math course, take the math 103, because we do a section in there called business math, where you talk about taxes and income and credit card / mortgage / car payment, where they rip you off with the interest.
So important life things.
Yeah, we do a whole section of that, and this is in that section, this problem, the compound interest. So, of course, they don't want you to learn that stuff. You know why they don't want you to learn it? So they can take advantage of you. So 1 plus r over n raised to the nt power. And let's see what they give us. They give us P is equal to 5,000. R is equal to 0.04. N is equal to 12. And T is equal to 4. Everybody with me? It says round to the nearest hundredth. So let's plug and chug. Now I'm gonna plug it in, but I'm not going to do a lot of writing with the calculator, because you shouldn't need to. Okay, the only thing you should write down now is A is equal to 5,000 times 1 plus 0.04 over 12 raised to the 12 times 4 power. And that's all you should do for this problem. Mine is showing recording in progress, and I can't see the join. Maybe I can't see to join. Let's see. Let me go to enrollment and call Miss Cassiano. Cassiano. Let me see if I can call her in. Cassiano. I love to say those Italian names. There she is. Being Scotch-Irish, our names are kind of boring. McClure, McLeod, McLean. And nobody's gonna say a word. Okay, that's fine.
Hi.
I was gonna see if somebody would, you know,
relate.
Like Grendel. That's something to do with Beowulf, isn't it?
It's actually spelled wrong, but yeah.
That would be what, an English name?
I think it is German.
Oh, yeah, I can see that now. We ought to talk about everybody's names. No, I'm just kidding. I love to talk about origins of names. I think that is so interesting.
It's cool, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to pull up my handy dandy calculator. And I'm going to make it small. And I'm going to make the, well, I'm going to move it over to the right here. Try to get as much as I can on here. Let me move this over a little bit there. And we're going to focus just on this calculation right here. All right, so I'm going to do the inside first. I'm going to do, hold on a second. I don't know why it keeps going to that one thing. It's them Russians is what it is. All right, so I'm going to do 0.04 divided by 12 plus 1. And I'm going to raise that to the what? What's 12 times 4? 48. But you don't have to do that. You could just say caret symbol, parentheses, 12 times 4, close parentheses, equals, and then multiply that by 5,000. So after 4 years, how much money you got? You got 5865.99. 5865.99. So you got dang old almost $5,900. That's not too bad for doing absolutely nothing, isn't it? I mean, you take $1,000 and divide it by 4, that's $250 that you got for doing absolutely nothing. $250 a year. Now, why do they pay you to keep that money in the bank? So they can make investments with it while it's sitting in the bank. Did you know that? So you make $250, they play it in the stock market, and they probably get, anywhere from, 2,000 to 5,000 just with buying stocks. I bet y'all didn't know that, did you?
I did. My AP.
Same thing with insurance companies. What do you think the insurance companies, what do they think to do with those premiums? They invest it.
Right.
And that's why they get, I bet there's somebody in here that didn't know that. All right. So let's do another problem. Well, let's type that one in so we can check our work. 5865.99. And we feel good about ourselves. Delete. All right, 6.2, 35/13. Is this a test question? Oh, yeah. So 2, this is formula basically. This comes out of 6.2. 2x minus 3y plus 15 is equal to 0. And somebody tell me, what is the objective here? What's the objective of algebra? To get what? The variable.
The variable by itself.
Okay, now which variable does it say you want to get by itself?
Y.
The y. So I'm going to take my handy dandy highlighter and I'm going to highlight that y right there because I want you to get rid of everything else. Now I tell students, if you ever get confused when you're trying to solve for a variable, put you a little man right here. And he's reaching out for that y. He can't get to the y because that 15's in the way. So how do you get rid of that 15? You subtract it. Or take it across the river. And you get 2x minus 3y is equal to negative 15. Now, how do you get rid of a positive 2x? Take it across the what?
Across.
Take it across the river or subtract 2x. However you want to say it. I really don't care. I do care, but I don't care whether you say take it across the river or subtract 2x. Minus 3y is equal to negative 2x minus 15. I know y'all think I'm mean and a terrorist, but I'm not really.
I don't think
Now, a lot of people do. I get a lot of students and they think I'm mean and I'm a terrorist.
they're short-sighted.
All right, I had one last semester. I think the first 2 days, and honestly, the first 2 days, I do come across kind of like as a drill instructor because I don't want to have to, especially in the fall, because you have to deal with all the high schoolers because they're coming out of high school in the fall, and that's why And I had one woman, bless her heart, one student, she was just like scared to death, and I'm like, no, you don't need to be, But anyway, I'm not that bad. Divided by 3, divided by 3, divided by 3. And what happens to those negative 3s? They cancel.
They cancel.
And you're left with y is equal to 2/3 x plus what? Now, what do you notice about the way I did that? Step by what?
Step.
I didn't try to do it in 2 lines on your notebook paper. Any questions on that one?
Mr. Hubert.
Yes.
Yeah. So was it just because I was putting the?
Okay, you're all muffled. What is it?
Was it just because I was putting the?
Okay, I didn't hear anything.
Your mic's like bugging out, bro.
Yeah, something's wrong with the mic. Type it in the, either fix the mic or type it in the conversation, either one, please. All right, so let's type it in and let's see if we got it right.
All right, is that better?
Yeah, what'd you do? What happened to your microphone?
I wasn't using one. I was just like talking to the speaker type thing. So was I getting it wrong because I was putting the 2x after the 15?
You wouldn't get it wrong, but the standard form of an equation is like this. Y equals mx plus b. That's the standard form. So you always put, you always put the x first. Okay, that's the standard form right here. So whenever you get y by itself, it should be in this form. Standard equation. Now, can I mark it wrong if you wrote 5 plus 2/3 x? No, I can't mark it wrong, but I can put a note on it that says you need to write it in standard notation. You need to write it standard way. Does that answer your question? Mr. Pack, does that answer your question? Okay. You can leave the 2/3 x or the 2x. You can leave it like this throughout the problem, but at the very end of the problem, you need to fix it like this.
You have a work email.
Oh, Lord, somebody blowing up my email. Question, gripe, complaint. Next, 6.2, 45/17. First of all, is it a test question? Oh, yeah, it's a test question. Y is equal to nx plus s. Y is equal to nx plus s. And they want to get what by itself? They want to get that n by itself. The directions say solve for what? N. So I got to get rid of that s. So I'm going to take that s across the river. There's the river. And it becomes y minus s is equal to n times x. Do you know where the river comes from? Does anybody know where the river comes from? That analogy?
Mm-mm.
Ancient times, the river Styx, the river Nile. What did they say in ancient times when you went across the river? Means you was what? Dead. And the opposite of being alive is dead. It's the opposite. So that's where they come up with that river thing for algebra. Dang old Nile River. See, you learned something today. Y minus S, what do you do to get rid of multiplying by X? How do you get rid of multiplying by X?
Divide.
When you do it on one side,
You do it on the
do it
other.
on the other. Y minus S over X is equal to N. I'm glad they're getting rid of Pippi Le Pew and Mr. Potato Head, Dr. Seuss.
Why?
That way my son can concentrate on Grand Theft Auto, where you burn prostitutes and steal cars. Let's type it in. N is equal to Y minus S. I'm going to use a Y minus S over X. Next, 6.2, 54/18. Yes, this is a test question. It says Ernie Rolfe. Every time I see the word Ernie, I think of, guess who? The Muppet, Bert and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie.
I grew up on Sesame Street.
They have the rubber duckies
they'll
on.
probably go after Sesame Street next.
They already have a little bit.
Oh, they have? I hadn't seen that.
They're going after Looney Tunes now.
Yeah, that's why I said they're getting rid of Pippi the Pew and that mouse that runs fast. Soon, y'all won't have anything to watch. All right. Ernie Rolfe deposits $72.50 at 6%. Ernie deposits $72.50 at 6% for 1 year. How much interest will he earn? What is the account balance? Okay, you haven't given us N unless this is simple interest. I'm going to have to look and see. They haven't sprung simple interest. They have to have N. You have to have N, but they don't say that it's compounded. So that must mean it's simple interest. Let me check something here. Is it simple interest?
They give you a thing. You just multiply all the
that's simple. This is simple interest. Okay, put a note on this one. This is simple interest. I don't think they cover this in the book, do they? I hadn't seen it. Simple interest. What is simple interest? Simple interest is when you make a loan to a friend or a family member, which I would extremely tell you 150% never do either one of them. My dad did that. My dad sold a guy a lot.
Yeah.
I grew up with the guy. I grew up with him and got in a big argument because he decided he just quit making payments on it.
Good.
So that led us to court and all this, and it just was a big mess. And he just quit making payments. Now, a lot of people say, well, yeah, we missed 1 or 2 payments. No, we're talking about a year's worth of payments, 12 payments. So you never, ever borrow, never, ever to loan money to a family member or a friend. It never works out good unless it's like short term, you know.
Or you don't expect it
Grindle, if Miss Grindle gave Mr. Pack $25 and paid him, and you know he paid it back in a week, that's different. But you know, this you got to be careful. So your A is equal to PRT. There is actually a continuous interest, and I'll show you this for your information. For your information, and some of y'all might remember this. Do y'all remember a shampoo a while back? It's green. It was called Prel. Anybody remember that? Well, after Prel come out, there was a shampoo and conditioner called Hurt. Anybody remember that? Well,
yep.
Now you see where I'm going with this. PRT, continuous interest, which the bank uses. Interest is A is equal to PE to the RT. And that's what a lot of banks use instead of the compound interest, which is the first homework problem we did. They use continuous interest, which is P, which is what you put in, just like that one. E, that's in your calculator, and raise it to the RT, which is 0.06 times 1. So we'll do that one too. I want to do that one just for your information. So A is equal to 7250 times 0.06 times 1 year. And that's going to be A is equal to 7250 times 0.06. Now, I'm going to do this because I want to. 7250 times 6. Well, that's too much to do. I'm not going to do it in my head. But it would be 7250 times 6. And that's going to be 40. Yeah, that's going to be 40. I'm thinking 43, 44, 30, something like that. I don't know. What does it come out to be? What is 7250 times 0.06? What does it come out to be?
435.
I'm sorry, what?
435.
435, thank you. Now, 435 is the interest that you're going to make off of this. So how much do you have at the very end? Well, you have 7250 plus 435, which is basically 7685. Somebody help me out. Sorry, you can't see that. There we go. Somebody check my math, please. Let's check it in the calculator. 72 clear. There we go. 7250 times 0.06. 435 plus 7250. 7685. And you feel good about yourself. Now I'm going to show you the continuous right here. And the only reason I'm going to show it to you is because it could be on a standardized test, and it's the same thing as a formula. You plug and chug. A is equal to P E R to the T. A is equal to 7250 E to the 0.06 times 1. And that's A is equal to 7250 e to the 0.06. And you take your handy dandy calculator. Y'all watch Blue's Clues when your kids are growing up? Blue's Clues?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
We still
I
watch.
remember Blue's Clues.
We still watch Blue's Clues, the old ones where you had what's his name? Steve. We don't watch
Steve.
the other ones. The other ones with Joe and Harley and Bubba, and we don't watch those.
I don't remember any of them.
We watched Steve. Steve was the first guy. And we still watch Blue's Clues, and we still watch SpongeBob. I won't let my son watch Caillou. There was something wrong with that kid. All right.
He's really whiny. You don't want to watch him.
Yeah, he's a spoiled brat. Let's go with 7250. 7250 times. Now here's E. I'm going to show you where E is. Second natural log. Second natural log. There it is right there. Second natural log. And type in 0.06. And enter. And that gives you 768. So A, after 1 year, A is equal to 76, 7698.31. And if you notice, is it far off of simple interest? No, it's not far off of it. If you look, in fact, the continuous interest gave you a little bit more than the simple interest. But that's the kind of stuff people don't want you to know when you graduate high school. So let's type it in, see if we got it right. And that would be, let's see, the interest is $435. And the total is $76.85. How you feel about that? Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. And that's the homework questions for today. Now, let's go to the next thing on the agenda. I think, what did we go over last? 1.3 or 1.4?
You hadn't really started 6.3.
Okay.
You just wanted us to do the flashcards in the book because we ran out of time.
Okay, 6.3. Let me pull up 6.3. I couldn't remember how far I got.
Not very.
And 6.3, yeah, 6.3 is basically those flashcards, and I'm going to pull that up right now for y'all. And that is keywords to solving word problems, basically. And y'all really, students hate word problems, and they use that excuse, I used to use it too when I really sucked at math, and that was during high school, first year of college. I didn't know how to add fractions. So, and I used to use every excuse in the book. I know y'all don't think that, but people, they use a lot of excuses. I know y'all probably don't know that, but they do. Right?
I can see it.
What? I didn't hear that.
What?
Y'all don't talk, y'all don't do your videos, so I can't see you talk. So it's kind of hard on this end since y'all don't communicate with me.
I look like a zombie right now. I'm not turning my camera on.
You're not, well, I'm not trying to get you to turn the camera on. I'm just telling you that it's hard to communicate with people when you can't see them talk. And the only time I can see you talk is when you talk enough to where it activates your microphone and a little icon lights up.
Right.
And some of y'all don't do that. Some of y'all just say, yep. And I don't even see it, so, but that's okay. We'll make it. And there is where we started, and here are the, did somebody check into 6.3 in the book and see if these are actually in the book?
I honestly haven't gotten a chance to do that yet.
Okay, well, let's go check it out.
They are in the book.
They are in the book. Well, I tell you what, since I know people will make excuses, I'm going to go ahead and show you where they are. E-text 6.3. Somebody tell me what page they're on, or the first page.
You have a work email.
Anybody?
I'm pretty positive it was the first page.
Okay. So I'll just wait till this comes up, and that way y'all can see. Now, why am I showing it to you in the book? Well, if you don't want to copy and paste it and use the snipping tool, I don't know if you have snipping tool on your. So a lot of the newer computers have snipping tool, and you can actually snip it out of the book. Let me see if it's the next page. Yeah, there's some right there, and you can actually type Snipping Tool, S-N-I-P, and it's that guy right there, and you can snip this out. Look at there. You know, some of this stuff, if I'd had this when I was in high school and college, oh my gosh, and save that as Word Problems 1. I'm going to save it as Word Problems 1. WP1. WP1. And I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to minimize that. And I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to just do this whole thing. Snip, new, and I'm going to do this whole thing. Because I'm going to do something that's really going to blow your mind here in a minute. WP2. And I'm going to look for any others that I can find in that. Let me go to the next page. Well, there we go. And see if I'm gonna go to the fourth page just to see if there's another one. I don't see another one there. Okay. Well, go ahead and find what you can. And I was going to cut out all of them. Okay, that's it. All right, and I'm going to watch this now. This is something. I'm going to take a word processor and I'm going to put it on there. Now, this is a lot of work now. A lot of work. So some of y'all not going to be able to do it. But here we go. Insert picture. And I'm going to put WP1 if I can find it. There it is. And then I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to put WP2 right there. Picture. Picture. WP2. Look there. And now I print that out. And when I do my homework, that can help me out tremendously. Isn't that nice? Or you could cut this out and paste it on the front of an index card. And you could cut this out and paste it on the back of an index card, one of the big index cards. And that would help you out tremendously. But like I said, that would entail y'all having to do extra work. Okay, in which, you know. So the only thing I want to mention on these four right here, all I want to do is mention one thing. When you see the word, when you see these words, more than and less than. Now, we're not talking about inequalities because we haven't talked about inequalities yet. But when you're talking about changing, when you see 4 more than a number, or you say 6 less than a number, these are really the only 2 that I want you to make a note of. This is what I tell students to do when they see one of these. Crisscross. Now, this is a Hubertism, something I came up with as a student. A number in algebra is usually called what? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Thank y'all for letting me know. 4 more than a number. A number in algebra is usually called what? X. If you don't know what that number is, it's usually called X. All right? And now I'm going to crisscross, so that X is going to be right here, and that 4 is going to be right here, and more than means what? Plus. Number X and 6, and less than means minus. Now, I just showed you the problem. This problem right here is the one that's going to cause you the most pain, because you're going to think, oh, well, that's 6 minus X, and you're going to get it wrong 100% of the time. All right? This is not 6 minus X. It's X minus 6. Make sure you make a note of that, because when you see the word more than or less than, greater than is usually inequalities. And less than, you have inequalities. But when you're talking about, this is solving equations. We're not solving inequalities. We're solving equations. And inequalities is not an equation. So when you're solving equations in 6.3 and homework, and you see this more than or this less than, you immediately think about crisscross. Now, do you have to do it with plus? No, but the reason I show it to you like this is because these are very familiar, except for one is less and one is more. So it's easier for you to remember these 2 than to just remember this one by itself. Okay? I've been teaching a long time, and I try to do the best for the students, and I try to keep it in layman's terms. Okay? So let's look at the examples that they give us after they give us those do-jiggers. Read the question carefully. All right? Let me ask you a question. What have you given one where it says at least 5? Okay? When you see the words at least 5, what does that mean to you? Here's another one. At most 5. Well, I like to draw things on a number line. That's positive infinity. That's negative infinity. Positive infinity. Negative infinity. And since we're dealing with 5, I'm going to do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I want somebody to tell me what at least 5 means in layman's terms. Just give me a sentence to what this means. Now that means I want y'all to actually talk.
It means 5 or more.
It means what?
5 or more. Like
Means-
at least 5 or more.
It means that the smallest number is what? I think that's what you're talking about. The smallest number
Yeah, the smallest number would be 5.
is 5. And I want you to write that down, because if the smallest number is 5, that means I'm going to put a circle here at 5, and I'm going to shade everything to the what? Everything to the right, including infinity. So I can use 5, 6, or 7 when it says at least 5. So if at least 5 means smallest number is 5, then what does this mean?
So the biggest number is going to be 5.
The biggest number is 5. Now, why did I show y'all this? Because these are two, besides the one I just showed you with the less than and more than, these are two right here that students really suck at. And that is numbers that are less than 5. Okay, so when you see at least 5, that means 5 or more. When you see at most 5, that means 5 or what? 5 or less. And you can put that over here, 5 or less. 5 or more. Okay, so make sure you read the problem and make sure you understand what the problem is asking. And then match it up with your shortcut index card and see if you can figure it out. Another thing I tell students, and this is still Hubertisms that I do, when you read a word problem, when you read a word problem, I know I got 3 minutes. When you read a word problem, what is a key word that all of them have in them? I don't care if you're adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. What word is a short word, only 2 letters? Anybody want to take a stab at what word I'm talking about with 2 letters? That's in all word problems. That word is right here. Is. The lowest number of, or a number plus 5 is 27. 26% of what number is 7? I don't care what word problem you have, that word is going to be in it. Why? Because this word, can you tell me what this word stands for in mathematics? Anybody?
Equals?
The equal sign, yes. The is in a word problem is usually going to stand for the equal sign. And we all know that in a word problem, you have 2 sides. You have the side that's telling what to do, and then you have the total. And this is the function, what to do. And then what's equal, what's in the middle? The equal sign is in the middle, and that equal sign is usually is. So if the equal sign is usually is, then what word usually follows is? The total. In the word problem, you may have something that says the total. Give me another word that means everything added up. The sum. In other words, the difference. That means subtraction. The product. That means multiplication. And the quotient, that means division. All of those will say, in other words, blah, 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 blah is the total. Blah, 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 blah is the sum. Blah, 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 blah is the difference. Blah, 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 blah is the product. And that is what it will say. And these are just some things that will help continue you with the word problems. Now, a lot of you are saying to yourself, well, golly, he hasn't covered all of 6.3 yet. Why am I going so slow in 6.3? Because it's the one that y'all what? Do y'all love 6.3, which is word problems?
No.
No. So where do you, besides fractions, where do y'all make most of y'all's anxiety mistakes in word problems? So I'm going very slow so we can, address those problems. So Friday, we'll probably finish 6.3 because we'll actually get into some problems now. And I will need to shut off everything because some of y'all are going to start convulsing. And there we go.